welcome to Craft with Sarah and day 13 of the Christmas Craft Countdown, where I'm sharing 20 Christmas-themed Cricut projects in 20 days. Half of the projects are designed by me and half are guest designer projects from some of my crafting friends. Today's project is one of mine and it's these fun wool smash images which can be used for a whole range of different crafts. I've used artificial intelligence, also known as AI, to create the 5 fun images which look like the characters are punching their way through the wall. It creates a striking, almost 3D appearance, and I love how versatile they are. I've used the images as stickers on jars, on greetings cards, and my favourite, on this t-shirt that I'll be showing you how to make in this video. We're going to be using Cricut's printable iron-on to make custom t-shirt designs. If you have a sublimation printer, you could use that instead, but I don't, which is why I love printable iron-on, as it means I can still create detailed t-shirt designs without all the expense of getting set up for sublimation. Let's get started. The files for this project are free for the next 24 hours. Here's how to download them. First, register a free ticket for the Christmas Craft Countdown at craftwithsarah.com/Christmas23. Click any of the buttons on the page and enter your name and email to register. If you're already registered, check for an email from me with subject line Christmas Craft Countdown ticket information, or any of the other emails from me that you have been sent throughout the countdown. Can't find them? Check your junk or spam box to see if they've gone there by mistake. These emails contain the link to view the countdown projects and download today's files. Scroll down the page to find today's project. Click the button to start the files automatically downloading to your computer or mobile device. Each download is only available for free for 24 hours after it goes live. If you've missed some, check out the Instant Access Bundle at craftwithsarah.com/Christmas23 bundle, which gives immediate and ongoing access to all of the files from the Christmas Craft Countdown, plus loads of extra bonus designs. All downloads come in zip folders. You need to unzip them before you can upload the files into Cricut Design Space. Once you've downloaded and unzipped the folder, it's time to upload the printable images into Cricut Design Space. Open up Design Space and start a new project, and then get into Upload over on the left. I've already uploaded 4 of the pictures, so I'll show you how to do it with the final one, which is the penguin. Click on Upload Image, and then you can click Browse to find the files on your computer, or drag and drop them in. Don't worry if it looks like any of them have got black backgrounds when you look at it on your computer. That's just a strange little thing that Windows occasionally does when you're looking at PNG images. Now remember, these are printable images. They are not cuttable files, which is why they start with PNG instead of SVG. So let's drag my little penguin in, and you'll get a screen which looks like this. Choose Complex as the image type, and then press Continue. I've already removed all the background on these images, so you don't need to do anything else on this screen. Just press Apply and Continue. Choose Print Then Cut Image, so the one on the right hand side, and then press Upload. You can then click the image under your recent uploads and press Add to Canvas. Now it will probably load in way too big. Design Space has this little habit of loading in printable images really big. You can see this is too big to print and cut because it's got the exclamation mark on the right hand side in the layers panel. So we will need to make this smaller, but first it's important to measure the t-shirt or tote bag or whatever it is that you're going to be putting this on, so we can make sure we end up with a suitably sized image. When I was testing out these images, I used Cricut's printable iron-on to put the penguin onto the front of a large Cricut brand child's t-shirt. And I thought I had 2 of these, so I could do one as my test and then one in the video. However, turns out I've only got 1, so I'm going to do something a little bit different for this section of the video. However, it works exactly the same whether you're doing it on a t-shirt or something else. So when I was measuring my t-shirt to get the size, I sort of took my ruler and just kind of had a little play about what I thought it should end up at, judging by the width. And I settled for 7.5 inches. That's where it goes to. So you need to think that this material isn't very stretchy, the actual iron-on. So you don't want it to go all the way to the edge, otherwise it might crack when it's being worn. So I went for something quite centralized. And also bear in mind on some of these images, for example, the penguin, it is taller than it is wide. So if you make it quite wide, then it might end up too tall and end up getting distorted when it's being worn, just due to the shape of the body. I think this size ended up really nice, and I just love how it looks like the little penguin is bursting its way through the material to come and say hello. And this does work best on white because the printable iron-on material is white underneath. So if you put this on maybe a yellowy tote bag, it's not going to work quite the same because you'll have your yellow material, and then where all the cracks are in the ice, you'll see white. So it will still look nice, but it won't quite blend as well as it does if you put it on a white blank. One other thing I tried whilst I was doing my testing was I made some stickers using Cricut's sticker paper. And this is the waterproof transparent sticker paper. And these worked out quite cute too. It does look a little bit faded, but that's just because it's a transparent paper. But I've put these on some jars with some marshmallows in, and they're really cute too. And then finally, if you don't have any of those materials, but you do have a printer, you can still use these images to make greetings cards. This is one I made with the Santa image. So I created a rounded edge square in Design Space, and then I added the Santa image and centered it, and then flattened it with my white square. So this all printed as one piece, and the Cricut just cut around the edge. And then I also cut a piece of pattern paper to go in the middle. And he looks super cute too. However, I did say this was going to be a tutorial on using Cricut's printable iron-on. This is what the pack looks like. It comes in a light fabric and a dark fabric version. Because I'm using a white fabric, I need the light one. And this is, what it is. And the blank I'm going to be using to show you, because I didn't have another t-shirt, are these Cricut cosmetic blanks, cosmetic bag blanks. So I'm going to give these a go and hope that this works out just as well as my t-shirt did. This pack contained 3 cosmetic bags. Got one larger one and 2 smaller ones. I think I'll do the larger one just so it's a bit easier to see what I'm doing as I go ahead and make the project. So for this one, because I want my penguin going this size, I think rather than measuring the width, I actually want to measure the height for this one, because there's no good setting the width and then it's too tall to fit on the bag. So let's see. Ooh, probably goes around that way. Sorry, that was a bit of a bang with the metal zip hitting the table. And actually, I think I might print out 2 and do it on the front and the back. Okay, so it is about 7.5 inches tall. And bear in mind, when it's full, it'll push out, so that will stretch it. So I don't want it too close to the top and bottom. I reckon probably 4.5 inches tall, which will be that. I could maybe stretch to 5. I think I'll do it at 5 inches, and we'll see how that looks. So let's go back into Design Space and resize the images. Now I know the size, I can click on my penguin, make sure the little padlock icon is closed. If yours is open, then click it to close it. And then my height, I said, would be 5 inches. And then I think I'll put a different one on the back. I might go for the polar bear. He's cute too, and they match nicely. And I'll also make that one 5 inches. Make sure you've got the correct machine selected. I'm going to be doing this on my Joy Xtra, and then click on Make It. So I'm happy for them to be nice and spread out there. And I'm just checking I've got that to A4, which it is. That's good. You don't need to mirror, so I can just go ahead and press continue. And before I send it to my printer, let's just take a look at what is included in the pack of the Cricut printable iron-on. When you open up your iron-on material, the pack contains your sheets of the iron-on material, which just kind of looks like white sheets with a grid on the back. And it also contains this kind of white, almost semi-transparent material. And this is going to be your protection for your heat press. So you'll put it on top when you heat press it. And when you're printing, you need to make sure your print goes on the white side, not on the grid side. And for this material, you do not need to mirror your design. So let's go ahead and get all of our Print Then Cut done. If you're new to Print Then Cut on a Cricut machine, I have a separate video which goes through all the detailed step by step. So I'll add the link to that one in the description of this video, or if you just need a little refresher, then that's a good video to check out. Here's what it looks like when it's printed out. So now I can add this onto my Cricut mat and then continue following the instructions in Design Space to get this all cut out. I need to select the correct material. So under Set Base Material, click on Browse All Materials, and then I'm going to type in printable into the search, and then this has come up with the right one. It's printable iron-on for light fabric. So let's click that one and press done. Then your base material should update to the correct one. Use the default pressure, and then you can load it into your Cricut machine. Now the design's been cut, you can weed away the excess of the printable paper. So I just like to go in with a little weeding tool, kind of break it apart. And then, there we go. Weed away all the bits that we don't need. And this stuff feels really weird. It feels like when you've got a party balloon and it's been a few days since the party and the balloon started to go down and it's a bit wrinkly. It feels like that. And that is one of the things I hate. I hate touching balloons when they've started to go down. So this is not my favourite thing to work with. But the end results are lovely. Okay, so we've now got a little polar bear and penguin. My heat press is here. I'm using the Easy Press, and that's heating up. I'm using my heat press in Celsius, so I've set it to 155 degrees Celsius and 30 seconds. If you're using Fahrenheit, then you'd set it to 315. For the temperature, not the time. Okay. Make sure you've got a pressing pillow to protect your work surface. I am rapidly running out of room here. There we go. And then let's find my makeup bag. Here it is. Okay, just double checking that's the right one. Yeah, those other two are smaller. Cool. All right, I'm just going to pre-press this for a few seconds, about 5 seconds, just to make sure it's nice and straight and smooth and to get out any moisture. Right. Wait a second for that to cool down. And I like to put a piece of paper inside whatever I'm pressing, just to make sure it's not accidentally going to go through both sides. and stick onto the back. Let's put that in there. Actually, probably that way around so it's not poking out the top, because I don't want my heat press directly on the paper. Okay. Now, I can choose which one I want to do. I'll do the penguin. And you gently peel it off the backing. And be very careful because it's really flimsy. So, because there's so many little edges, I just do a little bit of the edge at once. Be very careful not to rip it and not to stretch it. It's not actually sticky once you take it off. The stickiness comes when you add the heat in a minute. I'm also trying not to touch the back of it as much as possible, just because I don't want any natural oils or anything that might be on my hands to affect the press. Line it up where you want it to go. I think I managed to just drop that in a pretty good position. Then you need to add the protection sleeve that came with the printable iron-on pack. That will go there. And now I'm going to press it for 30 seconds. And you need quite a firm pressure when you're doing it. Let's move that away. And now my little penguin is all pressed on. It's a bit hot, so I'm going to be careful. That just looks so cute. And there's nothing you need to peel off the top or anything. It's just been pressed straight onto that bag. So cute. And because it's got the white of the bag, it's looking nice with the penguin kind of breaking through the ice. So what I need to do now is wait for it to cool down, and then I can turn it over and do the other side. Here's the other side with my little polar bear peeking through. I didn't quite get him in the centre, but I think he's fine. I love how that looks, and I'm definitely going to put this bag to good use. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to use Cricut's printable iron-on to make custom t-shirts. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Cricut crafts and Christmas fun. I hope to see you tomorrow for day 14 of the Christmas Craft Countdown. Don't forget, the link to get the cut files for this project is craftforsarah.com/Christmas23, but they are only free to download for 24 hours after this video goes live. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!